When I married Olivia, my mother, with a solemn tenderness that spoke of generations, passed down our family's ancestral golden locket to her. This wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a cherished heirloom, a symbol of our lineage, entrusted to the woman who would become the matriarch of our future. Yet, Olivia, in a sickening display of devotion to her longtime crush, Kevin, brazenly presented this very locket as a birthday gift at his mother's 60th birthday banquet. Witnessing that grotesque spectacle, something inside me snapped. Ethan, a man known for my quiet patience, felt a searing rage consume me. I walked deliberately towards the stage, Olivia still beaming beside Kevin's mother. Taking the microphone from the bewildered host, I nodded slowly, a chilling smile playing on my lips. Now this, I announced, my voice cutting through the polite murmur of the room, is what you call a true mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. My words weren't born of mere spite. They were a bitter truth, a dagger plunged into the heart of my existence. For barely a month before this grotesque charade, Kevin had already ensured Olivia was carrying his child. The banquet hall suddenly felt suffocating. I stormed out, each step fueled by a furious indignation that thrummed through my veins. I hadn't wanted to come to this cursed party in the first place. Kevin had always been Olivia's white moonlight, her idealized first love, and our relationship, stretched thin by his ghost, had always been fragile, fraught with unspoken tensions. Olivia had cajoled me, sweetly insisting we were all friends now, that there was no need for such awkwardness. Besides, she'd chirped, her voice dripping with feigned innocence, we're married. There are no misunderstandings we can't clear up. What a cruel joke that was now. A flurry of hurried footsteps pounded behind me. In a moment, Olivia appeared, blocking my path. Before I could even open my mouth to voice my torment, she launched her own preemptive strike, her voice sharp with anger. What is wrong with you, Ethan? She demanded, her eyes flashing. How could you say something like that in front of all those guests, especially on Kevin's mother's 60th birthday? You made Kevin and me look absolutely ridiculous. I felt a surge of cold disbelief. I ignored her, turning away, for in anything concerning Kevin, she was utterly irrational. She clamped a hand on my wrist from behind, her grip surprisingly strong. You explain yourself now. I turned back, slowly but firmly disengaging her hand. My voice was a frigid whisper. Then you explain yourself. Why was my mother's golden locket, our family heirloom, used as a birthday gift? Couldn't you think of anything else decent to give? She nodded, a dismissive shrug in her tone. I thought you were angry about something serious. Is that it? You need to understand. Something, Ethan. Your mother gave me that locket when we got married. It's mine. I have every right to do with it as I please. I let out a bitter, hollow laugh, rubbing my face roughly with both hands. Do you remember what my mother told you? That it's a family heirloom, passed down through generations, for a very long time. Oh, please, Ethan. What era are we living in? She scoffed, her impatience evident. It's just a broken old locket. We can just get another one made at a jewelry store, can't we? Besides, your mother is old and senile. Who listens to her anyway? Fine, fine, fine. I repeated, each fine dripping with ice. I nodded slowly. So, that's your justification for giving it away? Did you show any respect for me when you gave it away? Any respect for my family? Just then, Kevin jogged out of the banquet hall. He practically skipped up to us, his eyes meeting mine with a fleeting, mocking glint before. He turned to Olivia, his expression shifting to one of theatrical concern. Olivia, are you two arguing because of my mother's birthday party? Please, don't let anything concerning my family affect your relationship. He trailed off, his voice growing softer, almost wounded, before he added with a dramatic sigh, it's all right. Even though Ethan's behavior just now brought shame to my family, I'm still willing to forgive him. Kevin's manipulative intent was obvious, painting me as the aggressor with just a few well-chosen words. Olivia, however, seemed to fall for it completely. Her voice grew even colder as she addressed me. Ethan, you need to come back inside with me now. You're going to kneel and apologize to Kevin's mother. Her eyes narrowed, the ultimatum hanging in the air. If you don't, then we're getting a divorce. A deafening thunderclap seemed to echo in my ears, leaving me momentarily dazed, convinced I was hallucinating. I couldn't believe it. My wife of 3 years, my girlfriend of 5 years, was actually threatening to leave me over her white moonlight. I nodded mechanically, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. Olivia, fine. Then let's get a divorce. Without another word, I turned and walked away, not looking back. I half expected Olivia to run after me, to apologize, to plead, especially after her egregious behavior, her dismissal of my mother as senile, while praising Kevin's mother as elegant and wise. But she didn't. As I hailed an online taxi, I saw them. Kevin and Olivia, locked in a tight embrace, silhouetted against the bright lights of the banquet hall. Faintly, carried on the breeze, I heard Olivia's voice, laced with regret. "I'm so sorry, Kevin. I shouldn't have brought that loser here today. He really ruined the atmosphere." Kevin patted her back soothingly. "Don't be too angry, Olivia. It's not good for the baby in your belly." Sitting in the back seat of the taxi, my hair ruffled by the wind, I felt two hot tears roll down my cheeks and vanish into the night. I already knew Olivia had betrayed me. I remembered it vividly. One Friday last month, I worked late at the office, not getting home until 10. As I entered our apartment complex, I ran into a flustered Kevin. The moment he saw me, he looked visibly guilty. At the time, I was merely curious, wondering why a usually composed man like Kevin would appear so disheveled. It wasn't until I went home later that night that I understood. In the bathroom wastebasket, I saw a used condom. Olivia lay on the bed, her hair disheveled, her body utterly drained, unwilling to move. From that night on, I never touched her again. I had assumed her betrayal, if it happened, would be clandestine, hidden in the shadows. I never imagined she would be so brazen, so openly defiant. Despite not having touched a drop of alcohol at the banquet, I went home and drank myself into a stupor. I vaguely remembered crying as I drank, alone in the silence of our apartment. Eventually, exhaustion overtook me. I slumped against the wall, lighting cigarette after cigarette, each puff a futile attempt to numb the pain. Olivia never came home that night. The next morning, I woke to the sound of the front door opening. My head throbbed with a vengeance as I forced my eyes open, seeing Olivia, the woman who had not returned all night, step inside. Unlike yesterday, her evening gown was gone. Now, she wore a white blouse, a tight, figure-hugging pencil skirt, black stockings, and 12-centimeter stiletto heels. She looked alluring, even captivating. A shock of realization hit me. This was the outfit she had worn last night to serve another man, while leaving me, drunk and heartbroken, abandoned in our home. The moment she stepped in, she pinched her nose, a look of utter disgust on her face. "You're smoking in the house again. How many times have I told you? If you must smoke, do it in the hallway." The lingering smell of secondhand smoke in here is disgusting. With that, she hung her bag on the coat rack and quickly scurried into the bathroom. She stayed in there for a long time, then emerged, taking unnaturally small, mincing steps before hurrying into the bedroom. I glanced at the clock. It was almost time for work. I went into the bathroom to wash up. There was a strange odor lingering in the air. At first, I thought it was just the stale smell of smoke and alcohol from my own breath. But as I inhaled deeply, I realized it was something else entirely. It was a distinctive scent, one that any man would immediately recognize. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I searched for the source. My gaze landed on the pair of stockings draped over the washing machine, the very ones Olivia had just taken off. As I leaned closer, I saw it. The crotch of the stockings was torn, a large rip, the snags and stretched threads speaking volumes of the ferocity of whatever had transpired. And above that, my brow furrowed in disgust. I finally found the origin of that pungent smell. On the waistband of the stockings, there was an irregular stain, mocking me, shaped almost like an eye, a silent testament to my humiliation. With a profound sense of revulsion, I carefully picked up the stockings by a corner and dropped them into the wastebasket. I pulled out the trash bag, tied it in several tight knots, and deposited it in the hallway. Returning to the bathroom, I scrubbed my hands furiously again and again. Perhaps it was psychosomatic, but no matter how much I washed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being unclean. I went into the bedroom to find clothes in my closet. Olivia, like a phantom, appeared behind me, wrapping her arms tightly around me from behind. My body stiffened instantly. A wave of masculine cologne scent flooded my nostrils. I distinctly remembered Olivia, once, when drunk, saying that her white moonlight, Kevin, loved the smell of cologne. A cold shudder ran through me. Olivia's voice, soft and lingering, came from behind. "Still angry, darling?" I froze for a moment, then continued to sort through the clothes in my hands. Her embrace tightened, her arms pressing more firmly against me. "Darling, the locket has been given away." It's not like I can just ask for it back. Yesterday, I was just so emotional. That's why I said divorce. It doesn't count. If it had been before, I would have believed her without a second thought. But now, she was an adulteress. Her embrace felt alien, repulsive. I wanted nothing more than to escape. I'll be late for work, I said, my voice flat. She slowly released me, then leaned in, whispering into my ear, "We haven't been intimate in a long time. I'll give you a special treat tonight." Then, she pressed a fleeting kiss on my cheek. The moment I stepped out of the apartment, I pulled a wet wipe from my briefcase and furiously scrubbed the spot where her lips had touched me. In the past, a spontaneous kiss from her would have made my entire day. But now, the chilling realization that those same lips had probably done far more unspeakable things with another man sent a wave of nausea washing over me. On the way to work, I lit a cigarette, inhaling deeply, watching the smoke curl around me, enveloping me. Memories of Olivia, flickering like old slides, began to play in my mind. Olivia and I were college sweethearts. She was undeniably beautiful, the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. The moment I first saw her, on the very first day of freshman year, I was captivated. But my heart sank when I learned she already had a boyfriend, Kevin, her childhood friend, someone she had known forever. They had even chosen the same university, though different majors. One accidental sighting, I remembered seeing them walking hand in hand across campus. That was my first glimpse of Kevin. He was undeniably handsome, a true heartthrob. They looked like a couple pulled straight from a painting, perfectly matched. But their fairy tale was short-lived. By the end of their first semester, they broke up. Rumor had it, Kevin had found himself a wealthier senior, a bona fide socialite, the heiress to the formidable Tang family in Metropolis City. Olivia, heartbroken, wandered through her days like a ghost, utterly listless. A bar not far from our university became her sanctuary, a place where she sought solace in alcohol. She spiraled downwards, her studies neglected, her vibrant spirit dulled by constant intoxication. A beauty like Olivia, drowning her sorrows in a bar, was naturally a prime target for predators. One night, by chance, I was walking past the bar when I saw two men dragging her, their hands brazenly wandering over her body. Normally, I would never get involved in such a situation. But that night, something possessed me. Like a guardian angel, I pushed the men away, stepping resolutely in front of Olivia. The two men, fueled by drink, cursed at me for interfering, threatening to teach me a lesson. That day, for the first time in my life, I got into a real fight. For Olivia, I showed no fear, grabbing a stool and swinging it, fighting with desperate abandon. Perhaps it was their drunken stupor, but despite being 2 against 1, they were no match for me. They fled, howling in pain, their heads cradled in their hands. I was in no better shape. A gash had opened on my head, blood pouring down my face like a broken string of pearls. Seeing my state, Olivia sobered considerably. Weeping, she called an ambulance and had me rushed to the hospital. After that incident, Olivia was profoundly grateful. She visited me every day in the hospital, and though we had been mere acquaintances, we gradually grew closer. I secretly gloated, thinking that, even though I had taken a beating and my head was bleeding, I had captured the heart of a beautiful woman. It felt like a worthwhile trade. Having gone through that ordeal together, Olivia slowly regained her composure. She realized that, as a university student, academics should be her priority, and that incident had served as a harsh lesson. I spent my spare time helping her catch up on her neglected studies. More than that, I took her to the library, we ate meals together, participated in school charity events, and even volunteered. Day by day, our bond deepened. And eventually, she became my girlfriend. She was my sole motivation. After graduation, I started a media company. Through endless nights of hard work, the company's profits became quite respectable. Within 3 years, I had a car, an apartment, and we finally tied the knot, stepping into the sacred halls of marriage. As my business grew, she resigned from her job, claiming she wanted to return home and take care of me. In truth, I knew the real reason. She had been caught trying to seduce her boss and was subsequently ostracized, eventually finding her position untenable. All these years, to spare her pride, I had pretended ignorance, never once letting on that I knew. As for Kevin, rumor had it he had gone abroad with the wealthy senior after graduation, and for a long time, I heard nothing of him. Olivia and I had been deeply in love, and every day with her was filled with joy. When did this sweet life begin to unravel? Perhaps it was when Olivia's mind began to wander. More precisely, it was a year ago when Kevin returned to the country. A year ago, Kevin reappeared in Olivia's life, and he was single. From that moment on, Olivia's attention gradually shifted to him, often neglecting me. When she was with Kevin, she never once considered my feelings. It escalated to the point where they were openly seen together, holding hands in public. During that period, I was constantly consumed by jealousy, bickering with Olivia almost daily. Each time I brought it up, she would dismiss my concerns, claiming they were just friends, that my thoughts were filthy, and that I shouldn't taint their pure friendship. When she was in a bad mood, she couldn't even be bothered to come up with excuses, leaving me to complain like a resentful old woman, receiving no response whatsoever. Looking back, I pity my past self. I must have looked pathetic, always on the verge of a breakdown, tearing at my hair. No wonder Olivia looked at me with such disdain even today. I knew I was living a pathetic life. I had considered divorce, but deep down, I couldn't bear the thought. We had been so in love back then. Why had we come to this? To be honest with myself, I had been waiting, hoping she would mature, that her heart would return to me. Even with the knowledge of her infidelity, I dared not suggest divorce, fearing she would actually agree, and I would lose her forever. My love had always been so humble, so desperate. Until yesterday, she had given away our family's ancestral locket as a birthday gift, just to curry favor with Kevin. In that moment, something shifted within me. To my surprise, seeing the undeniable evidence of her betrayal, I felt strangely calm, my heart devoid of turmoil. I spent the entire day confined to my office. After cursorily signing a few contracts, I ceased working, simply staring out the window, lost in thought. A full day slipped away in that state. When I returned home after work, I saw Olivia at her vanity, meticulously applying makeup. She spent 2 full hours on it. When I looked at her, I was stunned. She was already beautiful, but with this exquisite makeup, I found myself mesmerized. Her face was perfectly sculpted, every detail flawless. I had never seen her look so captivating, not even on our wedding day. After finishing her makeup, she went into the bedroom and put on a low-cut black camisole, knee-high stockings, and thin high heels. She looked incredibly sensual. If not for everything that had transpired between her and Kevin, I would have undoubtedly pinned her down, making her scream until dawn. But now, no matter how provocatively she dressed, I felt nothing but revulsion. She always used to tell me she was a conservative woman. When we went out together, she would never dress so sensually, and she rarely even bothered with light makeup, let alone this elaborate look. For whom she had dressed like this, I knew with a painful certainty. Once she was ready, she tossed a casual remark over her shoulder. "Darling, don't wait up for me tonight. I'm going out with friends to party. I won't be back." Without waiting for my opinion, she turned and left. This was the woman who had promised me a special treat just this morning. I was long accustomed to her broken promises. This was far from the first time she had stood me up. Through the window, I watched her. Olivia got into a Mercedes. I knew that car intimately. It was Kevin's. I knew my wife was off to throw herself into another man's arms, undoubtedly planning a night of passion with Kevin. I watched calmly, 2 words echoing in my mind: divorce. I was fed up with being a cuckold. My prolonged tolerance had yielded no change in her, no return of her affection. It was time for a decisive end. I would not endure this humiliation any longer. This despicable pair had trampled all over me, treating me as less than human. A fleeting, dark thought crossed my mind. I could just end them. But then, the cold reality set in. If I killed them, I wouldn't live either. My own death didn't matter so much, but I was my parents' only son. For their sake, I couldn't act impulsively. With all this swirling in my head, I had no appetite to cook. I ordered some takeout, took a shower, and went to bed early. My mind raced with jumbled thoughts, but eventually, perhaps from sheer exhaustion, I drifted into a fitful sleep. At 10 o'clock that night, I was jolted awake by the insistent ringing of my phone. I glanced at the screen. It was Maya, Olivia's best friend. Confused, I answered. Maya's voice on the other end was frantic. "Ethan, whatever you're doing, drop it now? I'm sending you a location. Get here fast." Olivia drank so much tonight, I don't know what's gotten into her. Anyone who tries to stop her, she just gets angry. She's already had 2 bottles of hard liquor. Something bad is going to happen if this continues. In the background, I could hear Olivia's drunken ramblings. "Don't any of you try to control me. Kevin is toasting me, and I must drink. Because for all these years, he has always been my white moonlight. Hearing that, I knew Maya was holding back. Olivia wasn't choosing to drink. Kevin was actively getting her drunk. I'm telling you all, I've never loved Ethan. It's always been Kevin. Her voice was thick with alcohol, yet chillingly clear. We missed our chance back then. I don't want to leave any regrets in my heart. My heart turned to ice. Then, I heard Kevin's voice. Olivia, it was all my fault back then. I abandoned you. Now I'm back, and I just want to atone for my past sins, to make it up to you, even if it means being your slave. Come on, one more drink. Maya's voice returned, pleading. Olivia, you really can't drink anymore. Something serious is going to happen. A crash, the sound of a shattering beer bottle, was followed by Olivia's enraged shout. Don't you dare stop me. Kevin is toasting me, apologizing to me. I'm so happy. I have to drink this. And with that, Maya hung up. In a matter of seconds, my mind processed the entire situation, and I reached a conclusion. This was a trap laid by Kevin. He wanted to get Olivia completely drunk, then have me show up to witness her humiliation and my own. I had already decided on divorce, and I had even considered pretending I hadn't received the call, leaving Olivia to her fate. But in the end, something compelled me. I got dressed, got into my car, and drove to the location Maya had sent. It was a bar, a chaotic, noisy place. My entrance went largely unnoticed. I located the booth where they were sitting. Instead of announcing my presence, I quietly slipped into a secluded corner, observing. I wanted to see Olivia in her drunken stupor, unfiltered and raw. The dazzling lights and deafening music pushed the bar's atmosphere to its peak. Olivia, her arm wrapped around Kevin's, was wildly gyrating on the dance floor, her body occasionally brushing against his. The pure, innocent aura she once possessed was gone, replaced by a cheap, vulgar sensuality. Her attire, combined with her drunken abandon, made her look utterly disreputable, almost like a hostess at a nightclub. In our 7 years together, I had never seen her this drunk. As a DJ set ended, Olivia took Kevin's hand and placed it on her chest, her eyes filled with undisguised desire. Kevin smiled, a triumphant smirk playing on his lips, as he gazed at the flushed Olivia. He leaned in and kissed her deeply. They were already in the center of the dance floor, a highly conspicuous spot. This explosive display immediately sent a wave of gasps and cheers through the crowd. Even strangers in the bar began to jeer. Wow, that girl is something else. Her figure, her looks, everything's perfect. But the best part is, she's such a slut. That lucky guy's in for a treat tonight. Such a beautiful woman, just playing in his hands. See? The beautiful princesses always end up being hostesses in nightclubs. Fairy tales are all lies. Kevin listened to the vulgar comments about Olivia from the crowd, not only showing no anger but a smirk of amusement on his face. He even squeezed her breasts, a brazen display of possession. He pulled a cigarette from his pocket and put it to his lips. Olivia, ever so eager, picked up a lighter from the table and lit it for him. Kevin took a deep drag, and then Olivia, without hesitation, leaned in and kissed him, taking the smoke directly from his lips. Even though I had already decided to divorce her, my heart still seized up at the sight. She had always claimed to despise the smell of smoke. Now I understood. She didn't despise the smell of smoke. She despised me. Maya, with her sharp eyes, spotted me in the corner. She rushed forward, pulling the kissing couple apart. She gently patted Olivia's cheek, speaking in a low, urgent voice. Olivia, you're going too far. Stop now. Your husband is here to pick you up. Too far. Olivia shrieked, clearly beyond reason. She shoved Maya away. My husband is Kevin, and he's right here in my arms. I don't have any other husband. Please don't say that. I'm afraid Kevin will misunderstand. She was utterly, grotesquely drunk. Even Maya stared at her, speechless. Olivia's words were utterly heartless. We were legally married, yet she was embracing another man and calling him her husband. Each word stabbed me like 1,000 needles. This was simply a profound heartache, but I didn't explode. Compared to my past self, this was immense progress. In the past, such words would have sent me into a furious frenzy, making a spectacle of myself, screaming and breaking down in front of everyone. I knew, in that moment, that my heart had finally died. Kevin looked at me in the corner, his arm still wrapped around Olivia, a cigarette between his fingers. As he exhaled, he deliberately blew smoke rings in my direction, his eyes brimming with blatant provocation. I knew he was reveling in his triumph. Some of the people present were friends of both Olivia and him. Everyone here now knew I had been cuckolded, and he was the one who had placed the horns on my head. Maya, growing desperate, splashed the contents of her glass into Olivia's face. "Wake up now? As your best friend, I can't bear to see you like this, acting like a ghost." Maya pointed at me, shouting furiously, "Look who's here. It's your husband." Olivia rubbed her face vigorously, then slowly turned her gaze towards me. The moment she saw me, her face contorted in annoyance. "Are you sick? What are you doing here? I told you not to wait up for me tonight." "Oh, I know. You're stalking me." Her voice was shrill, laced with an almost comically transparent guilt. "Ethan, you're truly despicable. You even interfere with my freedom and privacy. What is this? You don't trust me." Before I could respond, she hurried on, clearly trying to deflect. "You suspect Kevin and I are having an affair, don't you? How can you be so petty? You're not even fit to be a man." I watched her silently. Though heavily intoxicated, her ability to scold me remained undiminished. I finally spoke, my voice low and cutting. "You don't need me to suspect anything, do you? You two were kissing quite passionately just now, completely oblivious to your surroundings." "What? You forgot already." I slowly stood up, taking a step closer. "Besides, everyone here knows about you two, don't they?" Kevin, fearing I might do something extreme, quickly ducked behind Olivia. Olivia, emboldened by the alcohol, suddenly grabbed a liquor bottle from the table and smashed it violently against my head. My already scarred scalp was gashed open again. 7 years ago, I got this same injury defending her in a bar. Perhaps it was fate, a sign that what began there would also end there. Blood streamed down my face, unstoppable. Hidden behind Olivia, Kevin wore a triumphant smile. The crowd around us began to point and whisper, seemingly mocking my weakness, my incompetence. Here I was, the cuckolded husband, confronting the affair, yet doing nothing to the other man, only to have my own wife smash a bottle over my head. I knew then that my relationship with Olivia was like that shattered bottle on my head, irrevocably broken. I calmly looked at Olivia and Kevin, my voice chillingly clear. "Olivia, we're getting a divorce." Amidst the mocking whispers of the crowd, I stumbled out of the bar, clutching my bleeding head like a drowned dog. I hadn't gone far when Kevin called out from behind me. I didn't even acknowledge him, continuing to walk. He quickened his pace, catching up and blocking my way, a wide, taunting grin on his face. "Oh, so much blood. Does it hurt?" I stared at him, my eyes like ice. "Get out of my way." He feigned innocence, his tone dripping with false sympathy. "Aren't you a man? How can you just abandon your wife and leave like this?" I knew he wanted me to stay, to humiliate me further. This had been his goal in getting Olivia so drunk. I fixed him with an unwavering gaze. Then, a cold smile spread across my lips. "Then I'll trouble you to take care of her for me, won't you?" His smile widened, a triumphant gleam in his eyes. He patted my shoulder, feigning seriousness. "Of course, gladly. You know, I've been secretly taking care of your wife quite a lot behind your back. Let me show you something." He deliberately emphasized the word care. With that, he pulled an ultrasound report from his pocket and handed it to me. I felt a jolt of pure shock, my scalp tingling as I stared at the ultrasound. The report showed that Olivia was a month pregnant. My eyes blazed with fury as I looked at him. He gloated, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Your wife said she usually doesn't let you touch her, and even if she does, you always have to use protection beforehand. So this child must be mine." His words were incredibly insulting, a direct, brutal declaration that he had not only slept with my wife, but had also gotten her pregnant. There was no way to salvage this marriage. The numbness in my scalp hadn't even receded when Kevin's next words made me tremble with rage. He said that our divorce didn't need to be rushed, we could put it on hold, because he planned to hold an engagement ceremony with Olivia this Friday at Sophia Cathedral, with the wedding date to be determined later. And to add insult to injury, he even invited me to be a witness. His audacity was beyond belief. He didn't treat me like a person at all. His intention was clear. He didn't want Olivia and me to divorce yet, because he wanted to solidify my cuckold status in front of everyone. He would hold an engagement party with my wife, letting the whole world mock me. After mocking me to his heart's content, Kevin staggered back towards the bar. Watching his retreating figure, I felt an almost unbearable urge to go back and kill him. But each time the thought surfaced, I reminded myself to stay calm, not to act on impulse. I first went to the hospital to get my head wound simply bandaged. Then I rushed home, a burning urgency driving me. I had something far more important to do. I was tired of enduring, tired of being humiliated. I needed to rally my spirits and fight back. Originally, I had thought that if they were both willing participants in the affair, I would simply let go of Olivia and let them be together. But they had trampled on my dignity one too many times. No matter how good-natured I was, I couldn't let this go. Fortunately, running a media company for years had allowed me to build up a decent network of contacts. I made call after call, finally unearthing some truly valuable information. It turned out that Kevin and his wealthy senior girlfriend from college had never actually broken up. They had already built a family together abroad. His wife's name was Selena Tang, and her family's business empires spanned the entire country. The reason Kevin had returned to Metropolis City was because the Tang family had a crucial project there that required a family member to oversee. In other words, Kevin had been lying to Olivia all along. I leveraged every connection I had, and finally, I obtained Selena Tang's contact information. After getting in touch with her, I laid out the entire sordid tale. How this despicable man and woman had cheated, how Olivia had become pregnant, and their plan to hold an engagement ceremony. At first, Selena didn't believe me. But having run a self-media company for so many years, gathering evidence was my forte. When I presented Selena with irrefutable proof, she was furious. She declared that she would drop all her current work and immediately return to the country to be a witness to the downfall of this scum and his mistress. In the days that followed, Olivia never returned home. The week flew by, and soon it was Friday, the day of the reunion lovers' engagement ceremony. Sophia Cathedral was bustling with activity. At a glance, the scene appeared serene and harmonious. Olivia wore a long black dress, her face beaming with a radiant smile. Kevin was clad in a perfectly tailored suit, his naturally handsome features enhanced by the formal wear, radiating smug satisfaction. When I arrived, many guests were already seated. Given Olivia's past status as the university's campus belle, her former classmates flocked around them like moths to a flame, showering them with attention. "Olivia, is this your first love? He's so handsome. Your first love is much more attractive than Ethan. To me, you two are a match made in heaven. We heard you two are having a baby. Is it true?" Old classmates often cling to memories from their university days. At that time, Olivia was the campus queen, while I was just an unnoticed, poor student in their eyes. So, unconsciously, they naturally favored Olivia and dismissed me. Olivia smiled sweetly. "It's true. I'm already over a month along." Kevin, sharp-eyed, spotted me. He pointed and exclaimed loudly, "Everyone, look! Our witness has arrived." As his voice died down, all eyes in the room turned to me. A ripple of astonishment spread through the classmates. "What? Ethan? He's actually here to witness his wife marry another man? Isn't he just a complete cuckold? I heard he and Olivia haven't even officially divorced yet. How shameless." I ignored their barbed whispers, walking directly through the crowd towards the couple. I pulled a thick red envelope from my jacket and handed it to Kevin. "Congratulations to you both. This is an engagement gift. When you two get married, I'll give you an even bigger one." Olivia looked at me with open disdain, clearly surprised by my supposed spinelessness. Not only had I come to congratulate them, but I had also brought a gift. Kevin grinned triumphantly, patting my shoulder. Guests who didn't know the full story might have thought we were the best of friends. Kevin took the envelope, handed it to Olivia, and then slung an arm around my neck. "Good brother, thanks for the gift. I can't let you give money for nothing. When the child is born, they can call you godfather." At his words, the assembled classmates erupted in gasps. This whole situation was utterly explosive, more dramatic than any novel. I maintained my calm smile. "Mr. Lee, you flatter me. Your and Olivia's child will be born a natural prodigy. How could a useless person like me be the child's godfather? If he grows up and finds out his godfather couldn't even keep his own wife, what will he think of me?" I had turned his own weapon against him. My words were subtly scathing, and Kevin, for a moment, seemed unsure whether to explode in anger or simply let it go. As he pondered, Olivia's enraged voice shattered the silence. She had opened the red envelope and found it filled with Joss paper, fake money burned. For the dead. Her bloodshot eyes widened, and she swore. "Ethan, how dare you give us Joss paper on our engagement day? What is your intention?" I scoffed, a cold sneer on my face. "You two are practically dead already. Real money would be wasted on you." Kevin's face instantly darkened. He was a man who valued his reputation above all else, and he never imagined I would retaliate in such a public, humiliating way. Of course, this was just a small part of my plan for revenge. Kevin glared at me, his face red with fury. While I was distracted, he suddenly kicked me hard in the waist, sending me sprawling to the ground. Then, he lunged, raining blows upon me, cursing as he hit. "I'll teach you to be such a pathetic jerk. I'll beat you to death today, you jinx. Let's see who dies first." If it had been a fair fight, with his slender arms and legs, he would have been no match for me. But today, I had no intention of fighting back. Though the blows were painful, a strange, triumphant smile was plastered on my face, impossible to suppress. Let's help our campus belle teach this arrogant jerk a lesson. How could he be so out of line, bringing joss paper to someone's wedding? Someone yelled, and a group of self-proclaimed righteous classmates joined in, ganging up on me. Olivia, though muttering something about "don't kill him, just teach him a lesson," still managed to sneak in a few kicks when she thought no one was looking, clearly enjoying the spectacle. Sophia Cathedral, once a place of peace, was now filled with a chilling, murderous atmosphere. "Stop!" A clear, sharp female voice cut through the chaos. Kevin instinctively ordered the others to stop beating me. I looked towards the entrance. A woman, in a crisp white suit, stood framed in the cathedral doorway, and behind her, for uniformed police officers. This woman was Selena Tang, Kevin's wife. I shook my head, clearing the daze, and slowly rose to my feet. I noticed a thin sheen of sweat visible on Kevin's forehead. I straightened up, and despite the throbbing pain throughout my body, I smiled. "Senior Selena, I won't have taken this beating for nothing, will I?" Selena approached me, her face calm and composed. "Of course not," she said simply. She pulled out the golden locket and placed it in my hand. "This belongs to your family. It's time for it to return to its rightful owner. You said it was an heirloom. Next time, be sure to open your eyes wider before entrusting it to someone, because some people aren't worthy of trust." Then, she cast a disdainful glance at Olivia, as if looking at a call girl. Pretty face, but judging by her character, she's nothing but trash. Her only path in this life is to be a slut. Olivia tried to retort, but Selena's imposing aura silenced her. She dared not speak. Kevin, who had been cowering slightly, finally spoke up. "Wife, have you seen my mother?" Selena nodded. "Yes, I've informed your mother of all the wonderful things you've been doing. Let her see how much of a disgrace her son has become." Olivia, standing nearby, was completely bewildered. Her face was a mask of disbelief as she asked, "Kevin, what did you call her? Wife? Didn't you tell me you were single? What did you promise me when you came back? You said you'd marry me if I divorced Ethan. All of this. You were lying, weren't you? Now I'm pregnant with your child, and I've broken off with Ethan. What about me?" Tears streamed down her face. Kevin, like a cornered dog, lashed out. He raised his hand and slapped Olivia hard across the face. "Shut up." Olivia was even more incredulous. She never in her wildest dreams imagined that her white moonlight, the man she had been having an affair with for so long, would actually strike her. She was speechless, tears silently flowing down her face. This sudden reversal caused an uproar among the onlookers, who immediately began to whisper among themselves in groups. This explosive drama was far more compelling than any Hollywood movie. Kevin had no intention of comforting Olivia. Instead, his face was contorted with fear as he looked at Selena. "Wife, why are you back in the country?" Selena stepped closer, gracefully straightening Kevin's disheveled collar, her voice devoid of emotion. "I came back to see you, darling. To see how you're getting engaged to another woman." As she finished, Selena's tone suddenly sharpened by 2 decibels. This terrified Kevin. He dropped to his knees with a loud thud. "Wife, I was momentarily confused. Please, I beg you, forgive me. I promise it won't happen again. Please give me another chance." Selena stroked Kevin's head, as if caressing a dog. After a long moment, she slowly met his gaze. "Do you remember, Kevin? I once told you the price of betrayal. Wasn't it enough to be the son-in-law of the Tang family? You went out and cheated. If this news reaches my family, do you know how humiliating that will be for me?" Kevin, a grown man, actually began to cry. "Wife, I truly know I was wrong. Please give me one more chance. I promise it won't happen again." "You want it next time?" Selena retorted, raising her high heel and stomping the thin heel directly onto Kevin's groin. "Since you can't control yourself, I'll just cripple you." Kevin let out a blood-curdling scream. The guests, realizing Selena Tang's immense power, quickly shifted their opinions. Serves him right. A man like that doesn't deserve to have male functions. He's utterly shameless. He has a wife, yet he's trying to steal someone else's wife. Forget the scumbag for a moment. That woman isn't any better either. Exactly. She has a husband, yet she shamelessly cheats with another man and carries his child. So disgraceful. The scene sent a chill down my spine. With that one kick, Kevin's happiness in this life had effectively ended. Selena watched everything calmly, then turned to the lead police officer. Chief Liu, Kevin. Here just engaged in an organized assault with intent to injure. Add that to the evidence of embezzlement I previously provided you. With your years of experience, how long do you think he'll be sentenced? The man, addressed as Chief Liu, respectfully replied, Miss Tang, the embezzlement evidence you provided alone is enough for over 8 years. With today's incident, multiple charges compounded, he won't get less than 10 years. He added, and even after 10 years, he'll still have to repay the embezzled funds. Upon hearing this, Kevin ignored the searing pain in his groin and frantically kowtowed to Selena. Wife, you can't do this to me. I'm your husband. If you personally put me behind bars, how will you ever hold your head up? Selena's voice was cold and resolute. If I let you continue to run around outside, it will only bring me more shame. Olivia, standing to the side, completely lost her mind. She shrieked hysterically. Why are you destroying Kevin's and my relationship? Why are you destroying our engagement party? I'll fight you. With that, she grabbed a chair and charged at Selena. Kevin, gritting his teeth, suddenly got up, snatched the chair from Olivia's hands, and then began slapping Olivia repeatedly hard. In short order, blood streamed from Olivia's nose. She pleaded, Kevin, why are you hitting me? I'm your wife. Stop hitting me. It hurts so much. Have you forgotten? Today is our engagement party. Kevin remained unmoved. His face was twisted with hatred as he looked at Olivia, screaming almost irrationally. It's all your fault. You slut. You even gave my mother the ancestral golden locket from Ethan's family as a birthday gift. You truly are a real slut. Why did you seduce me, making me fall into this trap? You still dare to mention the engagement party? Dream on. You're not my wife. You're that loser Ethan's wife. The 4 police officers rushed forward, restraining the near-mad Kevin and taking him to the police car. 2 days later, news came from Selena. Through the Tang family's influence, Kevin had been sentenced to life imprisonment. He would never be released. Selena stated this was the harshest punishment for him. With the Tang family's connections, they could have easily secured a death sentence, but for someone like Kevin, a quick death would have been too merciful. Additionally, everyone in the cathedral who participated in assaulting me was taken to the police station and detained for 15 days. 15 days later, Olivia was released from the police station. She returned home, kneeling before me, her face pale with despair and pleading. Husband, it's all my fault. I'm a disloyal slut. I couldn't resist that scumbag Kevin's sweet talk. Please forgive me, all right? Let's live our lives well again, like before. My expression was as calm as still water. I responded, neither condescending nor emotional. I cannot forgive you. I gave you many chances, but you cherished none of them. Tears streamed from her eyes, and she clutched my legs, begging bitterly. I know I was terrible before. I truly will change for the better. Please believe me. We've been together for so long. This relationship was hard won. We need to cherish it. You still dare to speak of feelings with me. I erupted, my voice thundering. When you gave the golden locket my mother gave you as a birthday gift to Kevin's mother, why didn't you consider our feelings? When you openly paraded around with Kevin, why didn't you consider our feelings? When you were in bed with Kevin and conceived his child, why didn't you consider our feelings? That day at the bar, when you, like a heat-crazed dog, initiated that kiss with Kevin, when did you ever consider our feelings? And you even held an engagement ceremony with him. Did you ever consider my feelings? Why should I forgive you? I shoved the pre-drafted divorce agreement in front of her, my voice booming. Sign it. Just as we agreed before, divorce. This time, she didn't feign nobility. She continuously kowtowed to me, begging for my forgiveness. I truly could not take her back. Everything she had done to me was like a knife, deeply piercing my heart. Even if the wounds healed, the scars would remain. Therefore, this relationship had to end. I remained unmoved, silently gathering the papers. You won't sign, will you? Then I'll sue you. I have evidence of your infidelity. If it goes to court, you won't get a single penny. She wept, making a final, desperate struggle, clinging to my feet, her voice a piteous whisper. Have you forgotten? You once promised to be good to me for a lifetime. Are you breaking your promise? What will happen to me and the baby in my belly without you? I rubbed my face hard, then crouched down. You said it yourself. Those were words spoken in the past. When you bring that up, you should think more about what you've done to make me break that promise. Speaking of broken promises, since Kevin appeared, how many times have you broken your promises to me? My words struck her like a direct hit to her jugular. Shame washed over her, and she slowly lowered her hands, ceasing her pleas. I picked up the divorce agreement again and placed it before her. The child in your belly isn't mine to begin with, and it's certainly not my responsibility. Take a good look at this divorce agreement. I'm being generous, considering our past love, by splitting the assets 50-50. I didn't choose to make you leave with nothing. I've already done everything I can. If you refuse to sign, I'll have no choice but to pursue legal action. Don't say I'm heartless then. With that, I turned away from her and walked out of the house. I walked aimlessly, eventually finding myself in a park. Vaguely, I imagined moments of laughter and play with Olivia in this very spot. I shook my head hard. It was all over. I would have a new life now. Life had to move forward. It wasn't until evening that I returned home. After a full day of reflection, she had finally agreed to the divorce. However, she had one condition. She would leave. With nothing, forfeiting any claim to property. Yes, even I was surprised by her choice. It was completely out of character. Perhaps she truly had a change of heart. Life after the divorce became incredibly fulfilling. The long-suppressed emotions within me were finally released. In the past, Olivia had always dominated my thoughts. Every time she went out alone with Kevin, my heart would ache, and I couldn't concentrate on anything. Now, my mind felt light and free. I ate well and slept soundly. Through our cooperation in this matter, Selena and I had become friends. She casually introduced me to several major clients, and my company's performance soared. I poured myself wholeheartedly into my work. With money in hand, I sold our old house, unwilling to be surrounded by memories I wished to forget. I bought a larger house in a better neighborhood. 6 months later, an email arrived in my inbox. I assumed it was work-related, but upon opening it, I realized it was from Olivia. Ethan, by the time you receive this email, I will already be on a train back to my hometown. The purpose of this email is to apologize to you properly. I am truly sorry for playing with your feelings. I know my betrayal caused you so much trouble. What's done is done, and there's nothing I can do to make amends, but I offer my sincerest apologies. I've always remembered how good you were to me. It's because you spoiled me so much that, subconsciously, I felt it was all just what you should do. Looking back now, I truly am shameless. I tested your boundaries again and again. I know you. We're exhausted. It's all my fault for being so foolishly obsessed, with Kevin. Everyone was right. I am an insatiable slut, throwing away such a good life just to cheat. Actually, that day, after we left the Civil Affairs Bureau, I stayed on the rooftop of Jean Mao Tower for a long time, thinking. I thought about jumping. Then, but in the end, I didn't. It wasn't because I was afraid. After everything that happened, I was already so ashamed, branded as the slut everyone talked about. I no longer wanted to live. The reason I didn't jump was the baby in my belly. That day, on the rooftop, just as I had made up my mind to jump, I felt the baby move, kicking me. I thought it was Kevin and I who made the mistake. What did the child have to do with it? He is innocent. It was only after losing you that I realized I lost more than just you. I lost your care, your thoughtfulness, your unwavering consideration for me. I was so foolish back then, actually choosing to give up on a perfect man like you for that scumbag Kevin. I truly regret it. When I, alone and heavily pregnant, boarded that train, I realized how much I was leaving behind in Metropolis City. I regret the years of my youth, and, even more, I regret what I did to you. In recent days, I haven't been able to accept the fact that I've lost you. I often wake up from nightmares. My due date is approaching. I will return to my hometown to give birth and raise the child properly. From now on, I will never appear before you again. I wish you success in your career and a bright future. I no longer have the right to protect you. Goodbye, the man I once loved. After reading the entire email, I didn't hesitate for a moment. I deleted it. Let the past remain in the past. If the human brain could be formatted, I would erase every memory of her. Another year passed, and I found a new girlfriend. She was incredibly thoughtful and always considered my feelings, always prioritizing me. I could feel her love deeply. After we married, I gave her the ancestral golden locket, and she cherished it as a precious treasure. I knew this time I had found the right person. I had no regrets about my past tumultuous relationship with Olivia, nor did I feel I had wasted my youth. Because after that ordeal, my heart had matured and strengthened. Now, my focus was clear: work hard, earn money, and face each day with a positive attitude. The end.